Did you know there's a competitive sport of hobby horse riding? We've shown some video over the past couple of years. This is growing in popularity. Just this past June, Finland hosted its annual Hobby Horse Championships. 2,000 people were there from 21 different countries, including someone from right here in Chicago, 18-year-old Micah Zanstra, who also just organized a...
There is no lasting success without resilience, no meaningful progress without resourcefulness. It doesn't matter how much talent you start with. It doesn't matter how many tools you're handed. It doesn't matter how strong your strategy looks on paper. Because the moment things don't go as planned, and they won't, you will be tested. And if you haven't trained your mind, if you haven't built a mindset that can withstand pressure and adapt in real time, you will collapse under the weight of circumstances. You will retreat into comfort. You will abandon the path that was meant for you. A resourceful and resilient mindset is not optional. It's essential. It's what separates the people who panic from the people who pivot. It's what separates the ones who crumble from the ones who create. When the pressure shows up, when the door closes, when the challenge gets real, it's not your knowledge or even your experience that determines your response. It's your mindset. It's the way you think about adversity. It's the way you process setbacks. It's what you believe about your capacity to respond. Most people wait until life forces them to build resilience. They wait until everything falls apart, until they're out of options, until they've hit rock bottom. Then, in the middle of the storm, they try to assemble a mindset that can carry them through. But that's like trying to build a boat while you're already drowning. You don't wait for life to hit before you train your thinking. You build your resilience in advance. You practice resourcefulness before it becomes a requirement. That's how you stay grounded when everything else is shaking. And resilience is not the same as toughness. It's not about suppressing emotion. It's not about pretending you're fine. It's not about pushing through until you break. Real resilience is flexible. It bends, but it doesn't break. It feels, but it doesn't get stuck. It absorbs pressure without becoming hard. It moves forward without demanding that the path be easy. It adapts. It evolves. And that kind of strength can't be bought. It has to be built. Resourcefulness is not about having all the answers. It's about believing that the answer can be found. It's not about having more tools. It's about using the ones you have with creativity and clarity.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zuckner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Started from the bottom, and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get
how's it going? I'm Thomas Crossan, owner and founder of Full Package Media in Dallas, Texas. I've been a coaching client with Clay Clark since the beginning of our business. We started about a year ago, August of last year. I had no clients, no idea what we were doing, no clue really what was going on. And now we've grown to where we've got 6 photographers, we've got office space here. I have an admin, sales person that works for us full time. Developing an online system, and a lot of that growth we attribute to Clay helping us. And there's so many things that, his stuff is not revolutionary. It's not this crazy walk on hot coals and all this stuff. It's just real stuff. And like group interviews, we were totally against group interviews. We were like, no, we're different and we're special, and we need to do one-on-one interviews so we can find good quality candidates and not just kind of do this group interview thing. And we tried that and we failed miserably. We did group interviews. Now we do them every 2 weeks, and it's awesome. It works good. We always have kind of an influx of new people that we can train, get going. He's helped us a lot with our website, graphic design, SEO. SEO is another thing that I thought before I started this business and before Clay it was kind of a joke, or something that only your Apples of the world and Amazon could get to the top of Google. But Clay said, no, just do these things, follow these steps, and you'll get there. And I think now we look today and we're number 2 for Dallas real estate photography. If you don't believe me, you can look. So we're getting to the top of there. That's really cool. It's really awesome to get leads that people will call you and say, hey, I found you on Google. We want to hear about your services. So that's really great. I'd say there's nobody out there that's not a good coaching client for Clay. Anyone, regardless of the business, it's not about what the business is, what the specialty is. It's about following the steps, doing what he says. It's a good thing. An hour a week, it gets you on track and keeps you kind of in line of what you're doing and what you shouldn't be doing. And it's good to kind of give you some flow and future goals of your business. And I remember our first meeting, we set our goals, and our goal was to do 16 shoots a week. And at the time, me and my business partner / girlfriend Gretchen were like, oh, we're never going to do 16 a week. That's just like crazy. And today we're doing 9, and we did about 54 last week. So he's helped us grow. We've put in a lot of hours, a lot of hard work as well. But if you follow his steps and do what he says, there's a lot of principles that he's kind of taught and instilled in us that help us. So Clay Clark, he's the way to go. I wouldn't venture out to find someone else. They'd be more expensive and a lot more fluff and no real actionable work and things to get your business growing. So that's the way to go. Thanks.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
What kind of growth have you had since you became a one-on-one coaching client?
Well, I think when I first started back, not even a year ago, when we really started getting down in the dirt with this, I had about 6 consistent customers, and now I'm about shy of 60 customers.
Well, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we have a wonderful success story. This particular listener actually has been to a workshop, and they heard how to grow their business. They became a one-on-one consulting client, and now their business is absolutely growing, not because they heard what to do, but because they're implementing the proven systems and processes in their actual business. And now, without any further ado, Russell Weimer, welcome onto the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing excellent. How are you doing, Clay?
Well, I'm fired up to have you here. Now, for a lot of people that are wondering, is this man a hologram or is he a real person? Tell us, what's your website and what's the name of your company, sir?
The website's weimerworks.com, and the name of the company is simply Weimerworks Full Service and Repair.
Now, since you became a one-on-one coaching client, I mean, we do charge clients a flat rate of $1,700 a month, and we do the photography and the videography and the web and the search engine and the branding and help you with the accounting and the numbers and the tracking sheets and the online ads. And what kind of growth have you had since you became a one-on-one coaching client?
Well, I think I've gone when I first started back, not even a year ago, when we really started getting down in the dirt with this. I had about 6 consistent customers, and now I'm about shy of 60 customers, and that's been pulling in, going from $1,250 a month all the way up to $12,500 a month, just in just regular service calls. So it's been overloading my plate, to say the least.
Now, one thing we do is we're fastidious about making sure that you're tracking the numbers. And so I view businesses, half of business is offense. It's marketing, it's branding, it's advertising, it's the vision. Then the other half is accounting and legal and systems and that kind of thing. Right now, how would you describe how the experience has been for you thus far? Because I know at first we put a lot of emphasis on, let's get the website up, let's get the online ads going. Kind of describe what the experience has been like so far.
So far, I would say when I decided to jump out on my own and do my own thing, never ran a business in my life. I have a family, so I was very kind of, I guess you would say, apprehensive to do it on my own. And I know I needed some guidance to really give me some concrete, actionable actions I can take and go do, and then I know it's going to work. And that's whenever I signed up with you guys, it was been kind of a very inspirational, but very confident that I know I'm doing the right thing, because anytime I've ever questioned something, it's always gone back to the core plan, what we're sticking to, getting the reviews, getting the content on the website, and just sticking to it, and the leads come in. And now I'm to the point to where, I'm making more money than I've ever made. And it's just it won't stop, and I can't stop. And I'm in a completely different area than I was 9 months ago when I first started doing business with you guys. And it's awesome. I can't say the least that it's just been not wild, but very exciting, very, very rewarding ride so far. And I don't see an end to it. And that's the thing that gets me kind of, when I was at one of your workshops recently, it's that feeling of being overwhelmed is the feeling that I got to keep, because that's the motivation. That's the growth of the company happening. And it just doesn't stop.
I started my first business out of my dorm room. And, I had this vision to grow America's largest wedding entertainment company. I ultimately did that, a company called DJconnection.com. And I grew that company huge before I sold it years ago. And it helped me having certain mentors in my life. So for right now, I pay an accountant every month about $3,000 a month, every single month, to make sure that my numbers aren't drifting. I pay an attorney several $1,000s a month, every single month. And I've worked with these same people for years and years. And most of our consulting clients are with us for 6 years or longer. Could you maybe describe for anybody out there that's thinking about becoming a client, what that's like to have a team helping you? Because I know every month I don't have to look for a new accountant. I'm not looking for a new attorney. And I have these people that are advising me down the path that I've chosen to go down. Could you maybe describe for anybody out there that's thinking about becoming a client, what it's like knowing that you have an entire team helping you?
It's extremely stress relieving. Knowing myself, not knowing anything really how to make a website, how to even do the nuanced things of the updated software and things just to make it cell phone compatible and rank higher on the search engines. Having a team behind me and me just be able to have questions answered, and knowing that, hey, if I need something taken care of on the website, it's going to get taken care of. And I don't have to think about those things and worry about things, or waste my time really with things that I don't have time to think about. I can just spend my time working on and in my business, knowing that I've got a confident team behind me that's going to be able to give me the best looking website that I can ask for right now. Because I don't even know how to make it look better, because I've never made one before. But I'm sure if I need anything critiquing on it, having a team there that, hey, I want this picture there, or hey, I want to add some content like this, y'all can change it, and I don't have to think about those things. And it just takes the stress level away from me. And then not only that, having a mentor to keep me when I question myself, to have you there to just, nope, stay on course, keep at it, keep getting the reviews, has really bolstered me and strengthened me to keep on course. And just, it's very, it's just stress relieving is the best way I can put it. Is I just almost don't have to worry or think about those things that can be overwhelming when you're first getting into this.
One of the things in the Bible that the Bible tells us 365 times about not giving in to the spirit of fear. In the book of Revelation, God continues to say, let them that have ears to hear. And then it's very repetitive. The Bible and God are very repetitive. And I find that success is very repetitive. You have to do the same things that work. And a lot of self-help books, they say insanity is doing the same thing over and over. I think, though, that success, and I know that success requires the implementation of proven processes over and over and over, doing the same thing that works over and over. Quick Trip gas stations provide great service week after week, day after day. Starbucks, as much as I don't agree with the culture, Starbucks provides great coffee every single day. Can you maybe explain that nature of having somebody that's pushing you to do some of those maybe stupid repetitive tasks over and over? Because I know that the addiction to new ideas is a kind of it is a problem that I see a lot of entrepreneurs have. They jump from one idea to the next idea to the next idea, never gaining traction. What's it like having somebody in your life pushing you to do those repetitive tasks over and over?
It's very basically it's kind of bolstering your confidence a little bit, and that you don't have, like you said, you don't have to have this new idea. And I can give the perfect example of, I asked you, I was like, hey, I didn't consult you about it. I just went and signed up for it, and it was the Yelp. And you gave me the spiel about Yelp, and I was like, I think I'm gonna give it a try. And sure enough, I do it. I end up spending about $500. I got 0 leads off of it, and it was a lot of wasted time and money. And I ended up kind of eating, some humble pie, coming back to you and telling you, yeah, I got off of that, and should have just listened to you. And having you there kind of told me, I was like, hey, I don't need to go off and try to new market ideas, because I'm paying a coach, I'm paying Thrive to do those things for me. I don't need to second guess their course. In the second I did second guess it, it came back on me tenfold, to where I lose out. And it was a waste of time. So having the coach there to kind of, reassert himself, this is why it works, and you need to keep at it. And I remember there was even another example I could give you. Is I was looking down the line of doom and gloom, something about the future and money and economy, and you didn't sit there and feed into it. You just said, I can tell you one thing is we got to just keep at it. You've got work to do. We've got to keep getting the reviews, and this is how it's going to work. And then unless you don't, I'd tell you the last time I thought about pitting doom was then, because I kept thinking about what needed to be done. And that was getting the reviews, getting the content, and simply getting my business to grow. And I tell you, I haven't thought about it since then. And it's just, you got to keep rolling and keep moving.
Now, final 2 questions I have for you. You provide a pool cleaning service, pool maintenance service. Tell us, what market area do you service for any of our listeners out there that may want to look into doing business with you?
Yeah, we service a pretty wide range. We're going to be pretty much everything west of Dallas. So all the way from Trophy Club, Keller, Fort Worth, all the way down to Arlington, Burleson, and all the way out to Weatherford. So pretty much everything east of Dallas, we're going to have you covered and get you taken care of.
Now, what would you say for anybody out there that's on the fence? They're thinking about going to thrivetimeshow.com and scheduling a free consultation or attending one of our in-person workshops. What would you say to them?
I would say don't hesitate. Do it. It really will. It is going to change your life, and for the better. It's not for the faint of heart. It is hard work, but you're going in the right direction. And you have a whole group of people behind you to keep you going in that direction. And I wouldn't hesitate, because if the second you sign on, you're going to experience a whole nother level of life you haven't yet.
Now, how did you originally hear about the Thrivetime show and the one-on-one business coaching and the conferences that we provide?
Yeah, it actually goes back to about a year, almost 2 years ago now, that when I heard you filling in on it was the War Room with Owen Schwarrier, and you were filling in, and I was just getting fired up off of your energy. I was like, I got to look into this guy. At first, I thought you were a preacher, honest to God. And I looked up and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is a godsend because he's right up my alley because you're all about entrepreneurship. And that was where I was going. That was the direction. And lo and behold, you're kind of right up the alley in a lot of the ways I think and other things. So it just kind of worked out to where I had to get up there and experience it myself.
Now, you actually, I think, filled out a form. What was your first action step that you took before you attended the conference and ultimately became a client?
Yeah, well, listening to one of your podcasts, you said, hey, if you want to give this a try, you encouraged to come up and check out the workshop. So I went on your website, filled out the little form, and I think within less than 5 minutes, I had a phone call with a very nice young lady, and she gave me the full download. And before I could even get off, she discounted the amount I had to pay for some reason. I don't know why, but she made it to where I couldn't say no. It just made it too easy to get up there and come experience the workshop.
Now, how would you describe the in-person workshop for anybody out there that hasn't been to a workshop before?
It's very, if you're not if you're coy, I just should say, it's going to be kind of in your face, but it's very, very motivating is the best word I could give it. It's just very motivating, and it kind of pulls you out of your little shell and kind of gets you to open up a little bit. And that's the best way I can describe it. Is very motivating.
Now, what would you say to anybody out there who's thinking about spending $500 on a Yelp ad this month?
Don't do it.
Oh,
Good. Don't wait. You're gonna waste your time, money, and you're gonna pretend. They'll give you pretend click leads, but it's all fake at the end of the day.
I'll give folks, check out weimerworks.com. That's weimerworks.com, an incredible service. I'll put a link on today's show notes, folks, so you can check it out. That's weimerworks.com. Russell Weimer, it's great to serve you. Great to work with you, sir. And we'll talk to you next week.
Excellent. Thank you, Clay. You have a good one.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, on today's show, we're interviewing an entrepreneur who is kind, who is diligent, who is the kind of person you'd want to hang out with. And I think if you're out there today, we need to understand that money is just a magnifier. Money just makes you more of who you are. And I hear nothing but great things about today's guest and longtime client, Myron. Welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
Hey, thanks. I'm doing good.
Hey, so real quick, let's get into your background a little bit here. How did you first hear about us? How long ago was that when we first started coaching or working with you?
So that was, man, it had been about six and a half years ago. Steve Currington, one of you guys' longtime clients as well. He actually recommended me to you guys about 6 years ago. And I went to one of your conferences, and I was blown away by what I seen at the conference, and I had to join.
Now, someone wants to verify you're a real person, and also it might turn into a couple of deals for you. What's your website so people can pull this up and verify you're not a hologram?
Yeah, check us out. whitegloveautotulsa.com.
whitegloveautotulsa.com. So let me pull it up here. whitegloveautotulsa.com. And with White Glove Auto, what are all the services that you guys provide at this point?
So the services that we provide right now are like services like paint protection film for your vehicle to protect its paint, ceramic coating for your paint. It's another form of paint protection. We do window tinting, and then we do vinyl wraps.
So you guys at White Glove Auto, I mean, you guys do quite a few services. Also, these mics I have right here, you guys auto wrap these microphones. Is that accurate, sir?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we printed out that wrap ourselves and we wrap those.
That's awesome. So that's, again, folks, that's White Glove Auto. Now, as far as growth, since we've had the opportunity to serve you, what kind of growth have you seen over these past 6.5 years?
So, man, that's the crazy thing. So our growth has been absolutely insane. I averaged it up over the last 8 years I've been in business. We've averaged about a 52% growth year over year, and that is just insane.
So you've grown. If you had to go back 6.5 years from when we started with you to now, do you know what that total growth percentage would be? Are you like 5 times larger or 10 times larger?
Oh man, I mean,
50% of a big number is, you know.
I mean, when I first started with you guys, I think I had just done $100,000 for the whole year. This year, I'm probably gonna do 2.1 million.
Wow, so you guys are up 20 times.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for anybody out there that hasn't worked with a business consultant, I always tell people what we do is very analogous to what a personal trainer does for fitness. And I would also say that what you guys do at White Glove Auto is very similar to what a personal trainer does, but you do it for automobiles. So if you're out there today and you want to auto wrap a vehicle, I guess you could get a manual about it, and I guess you could get all the equipment, and I guess that you could devote usually years to learn the craft and master it, and then invest in the physical building to auto wrap your own vehicles. Or you could go to an expert. Can you kind of explain what it's like working with a business coaching program on a week in, week out basis?
Yeah, so like working with the business coaching program is phenomenal. It's something that I'm very glad that I've done. Every week, meeting with you guys, for instance, is just nice to know updates on my SEO and how things are going. And anytime I have questions about things I might be stuck on, and being able to have those questions answered has just been great.
And with the meetings, I think one of the things that I think is very important, whether you have a business or you have a business coach, you need to have certain core, repeatable, actionable processes that you go every week so you don't drift. There's certain core, repeatable, actionable processes. Could you talk about maybe how those meetings have helped you to make sure that, that you're not drifting and that your organization is continuing to knock out those core, repeatable, actionable processes?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the biggest things I learned from you guys' meetings is, doing checklists and processes and just making sure I'm doing the same thing every day. And when I go to my meetings, my coach is always following up with me, making sure I'm doing my action items. And if I'm not, he kind of gets a little upset with me. So it keeps me on track. But yeah, learning those processes has definitely been a huge help for us as well.
Can you maybe peel back the onion and maybe share a couple core, repeatable, actionable processes that you have to do every week that might seem kind of mind numbing, but that actually produce results?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is something I do every week. I do actually every day, and that's finances, going over my numbers and seeing my exact expenses and how much money is coming in, how much money is going out. And I do that every single day for about an hour and a half a day. And it's mind numbing, but it's something I got to do. And that's something I learned in Thrive as well, is making sure you're on top of your numbers.
And my understanding is you now are the owner of a Lamborghini. Is this an accurate thing? Did you just buy a Lamborghini?
Yeah. And I did just buy a Lamborghini. It delivers today.
And what does it look like, or what kind, for people out there that don't know what it is? Can you maybe describe it or tell me what kind of Lamborghini is it?
Yeah, it's a 2020 Lamborghini Huracan Evo. It's actually like a purple color. So Viola Pacife is what the color is called. Yep, Huracan
Evo, got it. And I am not a car guy, so I'm going to just hack away here and see if I can find it. So this is kind of what it looks like, but yours is purple.
Yep, exactly. It's purple. So it's not a convertible either. It's actually the coupe, but that is pretty much what it looks like.
And has this been on your wish list for a long time, or?
It has been. Yeah, it's been on a wish list for a very long time. I can't believe I've actually been able to buy a $300,000 car, but here I am.
Now, let's talk about this for people out there that are thinking about coming to a workshop. I always tell people it's $250 to come to a workshop, or whatever price they want to pay. What can people expect if they come to a workshop?
When we come to a workshop, I mean, even though it's, $250 or, whatever you spend, you're going to get a ton of value out of that. Whenever I go to a workshop that you guys have, I always learn something new every time I go. There's a bunch of information, a bunch of questions that get answered that maybe I didn't know I had. So anyway, it's very, very helpful.
And we'll talk about website edits and graphic design and branding and print pieces. I think a lot of business owners, they have a consultant they hire, and then the consultant they hire tells them, well, you need to go optimize your website, or you need to go launch ads, or you need to go look at your numbers. But they don't actually sit down and help them with their numbers, or help them with their website, or help them. How has that helped you, having a turnkey, one point of contact, where every week when you meet with our coaching team, after that meeting, you've got a team that's doing the photography, the videography, the web development, the search engine, and kind of helping you with those things behind the scenes?
Oh, it's a huge help. So, I mean, if you guys were just telling me, hey, do this, do that, and not giving me any type of actual coaching on how to do those processes, probably wouldn't do it, because it'd be a little too difficult. Maybe it's a little overwhelming. So it's definitely nice to have a lot of help on the back end from you guys.
Now, let's talk about this idea. In business, there's always a new idea. people like to bring up new ideas and obsess on new ideas and not execute the proven ideas. Can you maybe talk about that? Because I see a lot of wonderful entrepreneurs that reach out to us. They schedule 13-point assessment, and I find out that for 10 consecutive years they've been hopping to the idea of the month, the idea of the week, the idea of the hour, and they're always hopping from idea to idea, but they don't actually get anything done. Can you maybe talk about how coaching kind of helps you stay on track with what works?
Yeah, I think really the biggest thing is just having that coach there that's behind you. And every week, like I said, whenever you're meeting with that coach, they're just making sure that you're staying on track. Again, having somebody who's there and knowing that they could get upset with you because you're not staying on track and doing your action items is a huge help. If I didn't have that person behind me kind of helping push me, I don't think some of the stuff would be getting done.
Now, we charge $1,700 a month as of the time of the recording of today's show. $1,700 a month. We operate at a 20% margin for what we do. And we're very clear about that. It's $1,700 a month. It's month to month, and it's 20% margin. With your business model, you guys do auto wraps. And if somebody out there is looking to auto wrap, let's say a truck or a car or a vehicle, what kind of has Andrew been able to help you be intentional about making sure that you're not doing auto wraps where you lose money? Because I know a lot of people in your industry that I've met at conferences that do beautiful wraps, but they found a way to lose money on every transaction. Has Andrew kind of helped on that aspect to make sure that you're profitable?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing is, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of other people that do wraps, like you said, that are just afraid to charge what they want to charge. And one of the things that's helped me, like from Andrew, is just helping me not be afraid to charge what I need to in order to be a profitable business. And I actually get a lot of hate, a lot of shade thrown my way for charging higher prices, but it's what I got to do to run a profitable shop.
Now, this is probably an awkward time to place that order, so I'll put it on the agenda that we share. I need to get 6 more SM58 mics. The ones with the red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Where it's the red, white, and blue SM58 Shure mic that we have, and it's just the 3 colors. I think the mic itself is blue, and then I think the handle is maybe red or something like that.
Yeah.
I sincerely wanted to order. I need to get 6 more of those from you. So for me and for anybody out there that wants to order stuff like that from you, what's the best way to do that?
So if anybody wants to do any type of ordering like that, they can just give us a call at our office number, which is 918-806-2780. And we're happy to help you. Of course, our biggest thing is automotive. We can do automotive anytime, but we like doing little things like the mics or, going out to actual properties and doing some jobs out on site. We like doing a little bit of everything. So you have to give us a call.
I'm going to pull this up so people can see what I'm talking about here. So this is the mic here. That's an SM58 mic. It's the mic made by the Shure company. And this is the mic here. It's blue on top. It's got the white, then the red handle there. That's the SM58 mic. And you guys auto wrap those. So I'm going to put that on your agenda with Andrew so you guys can talk about it. But you guys do auto wraps. You guys do mic wraps. Anything else that you wrap that's a common request right now that people are asking you about there, sir?
A common thing here recently has been refrigerators. People want to have their little man caves and, put their cars in their garage, and they want to have their refrigerator wrapped with like car logos or whatever it is. So refrigerators, yeah, it's kind of a weird
refrigerator wrapping. That's awesome. And again, final question I have here for you. What would you say for anybody out there thinking about scheduling a free one-on-one consultation by going to thrivetimeshow.com? Maybe they're on the fence. We had a guy I talked to last week who'd been a listener for 7 consecutive years. And he said, I don't know what the deal was. I think I had a phobia of reaching out to you guys. And but he reached out to us, and in 9 months, his company's grown 57%. So in 9 months, he's grown his company by 57%. And on part 2 of today's show, I'm going to introduce our listeners to this man because he's doing really well. What would you say to anybody out there that's thinking about scheduling a consultation, but they have yet to do so?
Man, I say you're making a mistake if you're not reaching out ASAP. You're just holding yourself back. Working with Thrive is one of the best decisions I've ever made for my company. I've been with them for 6.5 years now, and it's something I really, really recommend everybody do.
Well, brother, I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy. Thanks for carving out time for us again, folks. That website, is whitegloveautotulsa.com. You can auto wrap a refrigerator. You can auto wrap a mic. You can auto wrap a Lamborghini, which now Myron now owns. So if you want to buy a Lamborghini from Myron, maybe he'll sell you he just bought it, but maybe he'll sell you his new Lamborghini at a reasonable markup. We'll see, folks. So you can buy a Lamborghini from Myron. You can buy an auto wrapped refrigerator. You can buy an auto wrapped microphone. You can buy all of those wonderful things at whitegloveautotulsa.com. Myron, thank you for carving out time for us. I really do appreciate you.
No problem, man. Thank you.
I mean, I remember some bills of $4,500 a month just to get leads that I was having to pay for. And that's only get a lead and a contact, to where now I'm paying you $1,700 a month, and I got 80 some leads last week alone, and I paid you $1,700. And to me, that was huge for my industry. That was one huge thing that just blew me away.
Okay, folks, money is a magnifier. That's what it is. Money's a magnifier. It's an amplifier. It just makes you more of who you already were. So as an example, if you're a complete jerk and you make a lot of money, you'll become a bigger jerk. And on today's show, we're interviewing a longtime client who's a really nice, kind, decent person. He doesn't claim to be perfect, nor do I think that he's perfect, but he's a guy that I use over and over and over. I utilize his services to plant trees and do landscaping for my family, for my business, because I really enjoy him as a person. I consider him to be a friend, and it's been awesome helping him magnify and grow his business. And without any further ado, we have the founder of Outside Inc., Paul Sullins. Welcome onto the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
Doing good, Clay. Thank you for having me.
So, Paul, I got to ask you here, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm looking at your tracking sheet, which for anybody out there who's a client, we look at the tracking sheet. And last week you had 89 leads. So 89 people reached out to you to inquire about hiring you to do landscaping, pool maintenance, backyard work for them, outside remodeling kind of work. And then I'm looking at your tracking sheet like a year ago, and you were getting like 4 or 5 leads on a weekly basis. Can you maybe walk the listeners through what it feels like to be on the receiving end of 89 inbound leads in 1 week?
It's a little scary, to be straight honest with you. It's awesome just to know that the amount of work up front that we put in is actually paying off. You see these people, you hear all these things, and you're like, hey, it's going to be there. It's going to be there. And it's been kind of mind blowing to sit there. And, one of my office ladies comes in and goes, we've got 56 calls in one day right after a rainstorm. And to actually realize the work and the effort that we put in is actually coming to fruition. It's been amazing.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up your website, and I'm going to showcase what you do so people can get a little context to know you're not a hologram. Outside Inc. Irrigation. Outside Inc. Irrigation is one of the websites. Also, folks, if you do a search on Google for Outside Inc. and the word Tulsa, you can find the website outsideinc.co. So 2 different websites there. And when you go to outsideinc.co, we look at the service you provide. It's French drains, it's landscaping. You do monthly home maintenance. If you look at the irrigation services, you guys are doing irrigation system repair and installation. So you're not the only guy in your market who's providing irrigation systems or French drains, but you're consistently getting a lot of leads. So I want to focus on the 4 aspects of business growth. There's a lot of them we could focus on, but I want to focus on 4 today. The first is marketing. You've got to get reviews from happy customers. Every single week I harass you about this, and every week you show up with more, but these are actual customers that have actually done business with you. Can you talk about the importance, and I'll hit play, but I'll hit mute as I'm playing these. Can you talk about the importance of gathering objective video reviews from real customers each and every week? What kind of value has that made when you're even talking to prospective clients?
It's made a lot of difference. I mean, a lot of the phone calls, we'll sit there and go, hey, we're the highest rated, most reviewed company in Tulsa. We do all these things, and they're like, yeah, we know. We went to your website, and we saw the clients speak about what you had done around their houses and how well you communicated with them, and that's how we decided to work with you guys. So it's just, I've put on so many different client reviews and interviews on the webpage, and it's been completely different, through some of your training and seeing some of your different videos from business from the business shows that you put on, Clay, I've noticed that we don't have to have the best looking and the most entertained TV produced videos. It's just getting videos of real people in their backyards, in their yards, and actually talking about you as a person and the products that we've done for them and how they've enjoyed it.
How often when you meet somebody, and again, we're focused just on marketing right now, when you meet with somebody, how often does the potential buyer reference the fact that they've watched a video review or have looked at examples of video reviews on your website as a percentage? Like, how often do they reference, yeah, I've seen some of the videos, or I've seen some testimonials?
Percentage wise, I would say at least 25 to maybe 50%.
Yeah.
You know, I have a couple different sales guys, and I have some ladies answering the phones here. And I mean, I'm hearing it all the time. I've got an office right next to the lady answering the phone. And, you know, she goes, "Hey, how did you hear about us?" "Well, we Googled you." And then it's like, "Oh, hey, you know, this. And they were like, "Oh yeah, we already looked at your website and saw all the views, all the video reviews you've done." So, I mean, it's all the time. It might be more than that, but I would say in the neighborhood of 25 to 40%.
And again, if you're talking about marketing, folks, we're talking about marketing. It's VISM. There's other details, but everyone needs to remember this. VISM, video reviews, images, search engine content, more reviews. Let's hop on to images. You're constantly gathering images of your projects. So it's not an event. I think a lot of people think planting a garden is an event, and it's not an event. I think people think that getting married is an event. It's not an event. I think people think that raising a child is an event. It's not an event. It's a process. Every week you're gathering images, before and after images of projects you've done. How has that paid off? Just the consistency of adding before and after images of projects.
It's been it's actually done it quite well. It gets my guys, number one, it helps my staff and us know that, number one, because as the owner of the business, you can't be on every job. You know, as you grow, it helps me know that the guys are doing what I'm wanting them to do in the field. My company is actually being portrayed the way I want it to be portrayed. But then also, people always look at a company and look at, we pull up in a nice fancy truck and they're like, "Oh, these guys, all they're going to do is the big fancy jobs." And not all our jobs are big and fancy. I mean, we talk and we work for the average Joe, the average person in the background. So when they're able to look on, and see some of these photos of it's just a little small French drain, or we poured a little 10 by 10 concrete patio, it actually helps us relate better to the clients and the customers in the field. I feel just having all those videos and pictures.
Just to be super clear, again, video reviews, got to get them every week. Images of projects. You do a great job with that. Search engine content. Our team handles the optimization, the ongoing updates on the website, so you don't have to mess with that. How much does that help knowing knowing that you don't have to go in to your website and figure out how to code and update a website every week?
There's no way I'd be where I'm at if I had to sit there and mess with that. Running a company, a lot of people always say starting your business is an easy thing. It's managing it and keeping on top of it. And these little details like this, I mean, we're in an age now, word of mouth is one way, but everybody's going to Google and going to your websites to see how to get hold of you. And that's the marketing we are in today, society. And I think that is super important to have that up and running. And when I don't have to mess with it, it has blown me away, because I mean, I got to deal with my employees, I got to deal with all this other stuff. And so it's just a huge peace of mind to know that that's just taken care of. I don't have to mess with it at all.
Now, so again, we go back to this VISM, and I think one way we learn is through repetition: video reviews, images, search engine content, the ongoing optimization of the website. We handle that for all of our clients. And then more reviews. We're never done getting reviews. And so right now, if somebody goes to Google and they do a search right now and they type in Tulsa tree planting, which is how I originally heard about you, was I was looking to plant trees at one of my properties. I went to a church called Church on the Move, a really wonderful church. At the time was led by Pastor Willie George. And the trees looked incredible on the property. And so I kept asking people, who does the trees, who's doing the work? And I kept hearing your name. And that's how I first met you. And now today, when someone types in Tulsa tree planting, you come up top in the search results, 703 reviews. You're constantly getting video reviews, images, search engine content, more reviews. Let's talk about that for a second. How much has it helped you to have the most Google reviews, in addition to video, but the most Google reviews?
It gives you validity. I really think with people, I kind of tell this to people all the time, is like how I talk to my buddies of mine that own businesses or in any kind of a service industry, and I'm like, what do people do nowadays? They go to Google, they Google. They're Googling for French drains, they're Googling for this, they're Googling where to go eat. And if to be at the top of Google gives you the opportunity to actually talk to a client and to bid it. Now, we still have to go out and sell the job to the client, but it's been very important and very helpful to be able to be at the top to be able to get that. I don't know if I quite answered your question.
No, this is great. And you've got the 4 aspects of business I want to focus on today. Again, step 1, marketing and branding. We covered that. The web branding is just anything people see, the website, the print pieces, the logo, the auto wraps. We handle all that with you. We do a lot of that work behind the scenes. That's marketing and branding. The second step is sales. Sales is converting an ideal and likely lead or an ideal and likely buyer into an actual buyer. And I believe that a lot of times, and I've worked with companies in the past that helped me with my marketing when I was first starting DJconnection.com, and I would say, well, yeah, I'm getting a lot of leads, but I'm not selling anything. And they would say, we don't really help with that. We just focus on the marketing or just the branding or just, I want to get your thoughts on the sales thing. You do a very good job of tracking. I won't share your tracking numbers on today's show, but you do a very good job of tracking. This is how many leads that came in. This is how many people bought. How has that helped you measuring and tracking your sales?
Number one, it helps me because as I've grown, I've got multiple salesmen that work with me. Number one, I'm able to see what my guys in the field are selling every week. And it also gives me time and to see, or not time, but gives me the capabilities of looking and seeing how our ebbs and flows are in my business. Because I'm an outdoor service company. So in the springs and the falls, it's able to see when I need to gear up for employees, when I need to gear up and get guys ready for stuff, when our downtimes are. So, over the last 2 years, I'm able to go back and look at going, hey, January and February is going to be real slow. December. So I really need to start as a business owner in October, September and October, start pushing sales and start finding different ways to be able to get more business to keep my guys going so we can book out over that time. So if I wasn't able to track my sales, my leads coming in, the jobs were sold, I wouldn't know. You get so busy in your day in, day out, you don't focus on that stuff. And, me meeting with you every week as a business coach and able to sit there and look at that stuff every week, you get trained to be able to look at that stuff and be able to see stuff ahead as you're growing your business and not looking in the rearview mirror going, man, I wished I would have kept that going, or wished I would have known about that 6 months ago, because then I would have been able to adjust then to help us now. And now I'm sitting there going, hey, I got to make money to pay bills, and we got to get some jobs sold. And I'm working in the rearview mirror trying to get stuff closed that we should have been working on 3 to 4 months ago.
Now, most of the clients I work with, I charge clients a flat rate of $1,700 a month plus a small percentage of growth. And the idea is hopefully I'm the cheapest employee that you have. So you look at it and you go, okay, I'm paying this guy $1,700 a month. Okay, hopefully I'm the least expensive person on the payroll, the least expensive line item. But over time, once we produce fruit, hopefully that small percentage of the growth makes it all worth it, and so that's the idea, is to achieve that true win-win. And so the third aspect of the business coaching I wanted to cover on today's show is management. So you look at a great project like this, you got to do marketing, branding, true. Step 2, you got to do sales. But 3, you got to manage. And I think that most people who are self-employed feel sort of isolated and annoyed. I feel like most self-employed people feel isolated and annoyed. They feel like, am I the only one seeing the level of jackassery that is often allowed in the American workplace today? And I have to work with all my wonderful clients to teach best practice management systems. And I think you do a fine job of that. That's something that you, in my opinion, is one of your strengths. You do a very good job of communicating the expectations directly to the client, and you manage those expectations. You tell the client, hey, Mr. Smith, hey, Miss Smith, we're going to have your pool, your pool remodel, or your pool fix, or your pool house fixed, or your outdoor siding project, your outdoor landscaping. We're going to have your retaining wall. We're going to have whatever the project is. We're going to have it done by this particular day. It's going to cost this amount of money. And you do a very good job of managing that relationship with the client and then managing those employees behind the scenes. Can you talk to us about the importance of just mastering management techniques?
Well, I don't know if anybody's ever a master. One of the things I've learned, and I've had clients over and over in my field sit there and go, man, when you said you were there, you were there. You were there every time you said you were going to be there. And you did what you said you were going to do. And that, number one, I like to be a man of my word. I mean, I like to be able to tell people when we're going to be there. I work in the outdoor industry. I mean, it rains. We're in Oklahoma, so there's, you're going to have delays. But setting those expectations with the clients, number one, helps me for, to be able to go, hey, it's rained. I can't get it. We've been delayed because of this. And setting those expectations up front makes for a happy end product with your clients. And just going through the process, say, hey, even when I sell the job, I'm like, hey, we're the highest rated, most reviewed, company in Tulsa right now. And here's the reason why. But that also comes with, we're really busy. We're not going to be able to get to you tomorrow. And the thing is, the people that can get to you tomorrow are probably not going to give you the best product. And setting those expectations with the clients up front, letting them know, hey, we're going to be a little behind. We're 6 weeks out, we're 8 weeks out, and letting that client know that, and then keeping them up to date. Then the client knows, hey, they just didn't take my deposit, or they just didn't take this and just disappeared. They know that, hey, we're coming down, we're there, we're still there, we're going to get it done. So I think that's one of the things that's helping really to set with your clients. And it makes it important to them at the end, because they know, I mean, some of these jobs are an investment for their backyard. It's a lot of money for them on some of these projects. And it's just like, buying a house, you want to know that you're getting what you're paying for, and it's going to be there when you expect it to be there.
And we could share just hundreds of video testimonials or Google reviews. I'm just showing some examples here. But again, the final area I wanted to cover on today's show, again, I'm just making sure we're recapping. Marketing and branding, that's how you generate leads. Second step is sales. You convert ideal and likely buyers into sales. 3 is management. You have to manage the expectations. And then the final step is accounting and what I would classify as merit-based pay. At the end of the day, it's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep. And I just don't think that most people think about that when they're growing a business. And that's becoming an increasingly part of our ongoing conversations, is making sure that, because you're the kind of guy that quotes a customer a price and you hold yourself accountable to not changing your bid on the client. But that doesn't mean that subcontractors or employees won't try to change the game on you and all of a sudden drive up your expenses. So can you talk about that final step of just the accounting? Because I think a lot of entrepreneurs, when they look out for them, when they reach out for a business coach or a consultant, they don't think about the accounting. But I would argue, as we continue to grow Outside Inc., the accounting aspect of your business is becoming a bigger part.
I firmly agree. I just come out of a meeting talking about accounting and bills and what's coming in, fresh on my mind. And as you grow your business, one of the things, I think, as you're young, you're just trying to get jobs done. You're just trying to get whatever you can go. But as you grow, it becomes a huge part. It becomes, I think, more than what most people think it's going to be. And getting, keeping the money and keeping the accounting, it's just like this last year, Clay, me and you had been talking about, doing merit-based. Because I think if you pay people enough where they're comfortable, they stay there. They don't want to grow. As your business grows, you want to grow. You want to give them more money. Most people want more money. I think everybody would, not frown against getting some extra money. But as a business owner, you want your salesmen, you want your guys out there in the field wanting to be able to make more money. And if you just keep them on an hourly basis, there's no growth for them to perform better and to make more money. So this last year, I've switched my sales guys to 100% commission. I used to have them up a base, and I put them over to commission. And the amount of calls of clients looking for their bids has got cut down in over half. He's selling more jobs by, I would say, 30 to 40%, maybe even more than that, since we've been tracking it. And it's made a huge thing, because the thing is, if he doesn't sell, he doesn't get paid any money. And so, you know, especially when you find people that are eager to make more money, they're going to sell more.
You know, this is one thing I wanted to bring up, and I'll let you go here because I know you're a busy guy here. For anybody out there that doesn't know this, you know, when I built my first company called DJConnection.com, after every event we did, I was obsessive about calling the bride after the wedding and asking them to leave us an objective review. Now, this is before Google was super relevant. So we had Wedding Wire and the Knot.com and those kind of things, or we would get video testimonials on an old school video camera we had back in the day. We would archive them. And at a certain point, I remember I talked to a bride and she said to me, "You have thousands of video testimonials." And I said, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And then now today, people go to thrivetimeshow.com, they click on testimonials. And I had a call I had just the other day with a wonderful man. And he was saying to me, "I was going through your testimonials and I had to stop around like page 30 because I kept looking at the testimonials. And I realized there is really no end in sight. I mean, I'm looking at this and there's like years after years after years of video testimonials." And I said, "Well, yeah, because we document that. That's a very important thing that we do." But I want to ask you this question. For anybody out there that's thinking about coming to one of our workshops or scheduling a free 13-point assessment with myself to go over how to grow their company, what would you say, or maybe what kind of impact do you think that business coaching with our program has made on your business?
It's been huge. One of the things I've loved, you know, the problem is a lot of times with business owners is I feel, especially with me, you know, we come from, for my instance, I come from, I call it W-2 employee status, you know, working for somebody and said, "Hey, I'm going to go out here and start my own business." Well, I didn't go to business school. Nobody's told me the next steps, what I really need to focus on. Because as you grow this business, like, what is it? You know, you can read 1,000 books. And what's made it huge for me is to be able to come along, you know, have you come along beside me and sit there and go, "Hey, you need to focus on this, and this is why. You need to focus on this, and this is why." Because when we get down in what I call the trenches as a business owner, you're sitting there going, "Man, if all you do is focus on that, you can never focus on what you really need to do. You can't focus on your accounting and stuff like that." And it's been amazing. It's actually, I don't know how much it's grown my company so far in the last 2 years, but it is, the peace of mind is unreal, because I'm not looking at my numbers at the moment, but it has been huge. It's just like, I used to have to pay, I think we were paying in the neighborhood of $4,000 a month just for leads, just to get leads in now. 2 years ago, I mean, this time of the year, I remember some bills of $4,500 a month just to get leads that I was having to pay for. And that's only get a lead and a contact, to where now I'm paying you $1,700 a month, and I got 80 some leads last week alone, and I paid you $1,700. And to me, that was huge for my industry. That was one huge thing that just blew me away.
And I'll say this too. You are a client that's more private about your numbers. That just goes with your personality type. I have some of my clients are a little bit more flashy. They love to talk about their gross sales and their sales. But I can say this, I was looking at year over year. So you take the month of May when we're recording this, and you look at this week last year, and last week you had 8 leads. So last year, this week you had 8 leads from what I can tell on the tracking sheet. And this week we had 89. So whatever that's worth for anybody out there. And again, you know, we have some of our clients that like to talk about gross sales, and Paul keeps it more private, and that's totally fine. So I just encourage everybody out there, you can have a 10-fold increase in your number of leads, your amount of activity. You can do it, but you got to be a diligent doer. You can't just be a hearer of these words. You have to implement what you're learning. And Paul, I really appreciate you for making the Thrivetime Show World Headquarters look incredible. Thank you for the maintenance you provide. Thank you for the work you provide. And again, it's been awesome serving you. So again, thanks for your time today, sir.
Hey, thank you, Clay. Have a great day, bud.
Take care. Bye.
Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? people rave about what they learned from you. So congratulations.
Sean, guess what's happening June 5th and 6th right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem?
We are probably going to have an amazing business conference here at Tulsa, Jerusalem.
Yes, we're joined by Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow is going to be joining us right here at the Thrivetime Show World Headquarters, June 5th and 6th. He's a very successful football player, obviously a Heisman Award winner, but he's also a very successful entrepreneur. Now, when you work with real clients, Sean, real clients you really work with to help them grow their companies, do you ever hear a business owner tell you that they didn't have time to get something done?
Every day.
How often is not having enough time a problem for business owners?
All the time. It's like maybe 90% of the issues as people are trying to grow their company.
Well, Tim Tebow is going to come join us here at the in-person Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop, and he's going to teach us time management and his approach to personal self-discipline and getting things done. Also at the workshop, I'll put up on the website so people can see it here. Also at the 2-day interactive workshop, Sean, we are going to be, there it is. We're going to be teaching accounting, systems creation, marketing, human resources, how to hire, inspire, train, and retain great people, accounting, social media advertising, search engine optimization. Sean, what's the area where most clients ask you for help the most? Is it generating leads? Is it hiring people? What's the biggest issue that most business owners have by default before they come to one of our workshops?
Well, I think it's management, because time is the most valuable resource for these business owners, and being able to manage their time is the first thing. Once they get that under control, then generally the numbers, being able to track their business and be able to make the best decisions based on numbers rather than emotions is a big area. And we teach all of this stuff at the business conference, particularly you, Clay. You love to hammer on time management. It's my favorite part of the conference.
Now, I'm going to pull this up real quick here because we're going to go through. If you're not excited, I want to get you excited about what we're going to cover at the workshop here. Okay.
All right.
The 2-day interactive workshop. This is my 20th year hosting workshops. So I'm telling you, folks, we're in rare form here. So one is the idea of establishing your revenue goals. I think most entrepreneurs don't know their revenue goals. Would you agree, or am I off my rocker?
No, that's totally a very important point we do with every one of our new clients that come on board, is we have to establish the revenue goals. And generally speaking, we have a vague idea, but not an exact idea that can be engineered down into like the daily goals for sales. And so that's a really big one.
Now, next is the break-even numbers. What kind of sales do you have to do to even break even?
Yeah.
Third is, how many hours per week do you want to work? What is your ideal schedule as an entrepreneur? Box number 4, how do you stand out in the clutter of commerce? What makes your company unique from all the different businesses? In a world of brown cows, herds of brown cows, proverbial brown cows, the analogy of brown cows, how can you be the purple cow that stands out? How can you be the squeaky wheel that gets the oil? Box number 5, branding. How do you improve the perception that people have of you, your business, your brand? Box number 6, marketing, your 3-legged marketing stool. What is a turnkey way for you and your company to generate leads so you can succeed? Because if you don't have any leads, your business will bleed. If you can't sell, your business will go to hell. You've got to generate leads. Sean, how often do business owners by default tell you they have a hard time generating leads?
It's almost all of the time. It's really a huge struggle. And many times they may be creating leads, but just through word of mouth. So they get to a point where we've implemented systems, and then they need to create more leads, but they've never had to do it. So there's a lot of different scenarios where business owners are like, how do you create leads? Something we hammer on at the conference a lot.
Box number 7, create a sales conversion system. Again, box number 7, create a sales conversion system. Sales scripts, recorded calls, one-sheets, pre-written emails, lead trackers, all of the sales tools, the sales print pieces, the one-sheets, the big screens that you see inside the business. Whether you're a doctor, you're a dentist, you're a lawyer, you got to have sales systems in place. We help you with that. Box number 8, what does it cost you to get another customer? Step number 8, what does it cost you to actually acquire a customer? Step number 9, it's hard to build an organization if you're not organized. We're going to teach you how to create repeatable systems, processes, file organization. Box number 10, we're going to teach you how to manage people, real people on the planet Earth. This just in, we're going to teach you how to manage real people on the planet Earth. Box number 11, how to create a sustainable schedule that works for you and your family. Step number 12, how to create human resources systems for recruiting, hiring, training, and retaining great people. Box number 13, accounting. This just in, we have to cover accounting. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. We're going to cover all the accounting things you need to know. And step 14, finally, what is the point of even achieving success? We're going to go over what is the point of even achieving success, how to design a life that you're excited about, how to design a life where you carve out enough time for your faith, your family, your finance, your fitness, your friendship, your fun, and where you're going to spend your focused time. We're going to go through that, all this and more. Now, the workshop, Sean, it's June 5th and 6th. Yep. It's a 2-day interactive workshop. Yes. And tickets, we always do it. It's $250 or whatever price that someone can afford. Sean, why do we let people name their price? Why do we have scholarship tickets available if somebody can't afford the $250 general admission ticket?
Well, we don't want anybody to miss out on it. You know, you could be at a startup phase or you could be, way along in your business, but we want to make it accessible for everybody. I think it actually goes back to a story of your dad. And it goes all the way back to how you've always done this as a business coach, trying to make sure that, your average people out there have access to the things that work.
Now, 7 a.m. to 5, Sean, why do we go from 7 to 5 both days? I mean, it's 10 hours a day. 20 hours of training over 2 days. Why do we do 10 hours a day, Sean, of back-to-back workshops? We do a 30-minute teaching session. We do a 15-minute question and answer session, and then we take a break. 30 minutes of teaching, 15 minutes of question and answer, then we take a break. Why do we do that format, Sean?
That format is so that we can keep people engaged and not just sitting there listening, but also getting involved. We really encourage people to ask questions, and that's really where the juiciness of the conference comes out, is you can put your personal situation and your questions on the board, and Clay will tee off and give you direct advice. Even without being in our coaching program, you can get direct coaching from Clay. It's really a very engaging format. I enjoy it a lot.
Sean, final 60 seconds pop quiz here. What date is the conference?
June 5th and 6th, 2025, this year.
Question number 2, who's our keynote speaker coming to the conference there, Sean?
Tim Tebow is our keynote speaker.
Sean, question number 3, how much does it cost to come to our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I think it's, did you say it's $250 or whatever you can afford?
That's right, $250 or whatever you can afford. Sean, how do you spell Eric Trump backwards?
P-M-U-R-T-C-I-R-E. Ooh, that took a long time.
I'll have to listen to this. You did it right. All right, again, that's Sean Lohman. I'm Clay Clark, inviting you to come join us at the in-person Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive workshop, June 5th and 6th, right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Sean, I'm excited to have this event. I'm excited to see you at the event, June 5th and 6th, right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tim Tebow, baby. It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem.
You could be anywhere doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Hey guys, Luke Erickson here with the Thrivetime Show. As you can see behind me, we've got all kinds of energy going on. People are starting to show up for the conference, and it is hot in this place. We got grill guns over here. We've got people playing the drums. We've got a fire breather, and man, people are so excited as they come in. The conference is kicked off. This house is packed. We've got Aaron Hansis with Sean Holmes up there. We've got Steve Currington with Total Lending Concepts up there talking about what is possible when you just implement, when you do the proven system. It's so exciting. People are going crazy. Guys, Luke Erickson with the Thrivetime Show here with you. It is day 2 and the energy is high. People are so excited to be showing up. The team is ready. Come on, let's see what it's like to go on in for day 2. Follow me. I tell you what, people are so excited to be here for day 2. It is going to be incredible. Cannot wait to see what today has in store. here at the conference, we've broken into groups going over search engine optimization. I know for most of us, myself included, if you hear that term, you go, what is that? What does that mean? That's too techie for me. Well, our experts are breaking it down for people so that you can clearly understand how to come up top in Google. It's doable. It's possible. Now we're in the middle of a break, and what we like to do is we like to give you as much tangible and relevant information from about the start of the hour for 45 minutes. Then we take approximately a 15-minute break to allow people to connect with other entrepreneurs around them, bathroom breaks, and also use this time to just really digest all of the good information that you're receiving the whole time. Right behind me, we've got Bob with his grill gun, melting an ice sculpture. It is awesome. The ice sculpture represents our life, right? It's here for a time, but we all need to have the sense of urgency to implement the things that we're learning so that we can make the most of the time that we have.
I heard about it on the podcast. Started listening to the podcast, became a fan, and then figured out about the workshop. I own an insurance and financial services agency, and I was hoping to learn from the workshop systems and processes. I'm big on systems and processes and always learning better ways to run a business more efficiently. The atmosphere's second to none. It's a high energy, really cool atmosphere to be around. Contagious, I would say. Just something every entrepreneur, I think, would appreciate and love. I'd say humorous, high energy, and full of substance, which I think is the key. A lot of business coaches or seminars maybe are high on motivation and making you feel good, but don't have a lot of substance that you can take back and implement, the following Monday, where his does. Man, there's a lot of valuable things. I'm gonna say, this is my second workshop. The first workshop I took back really the importance of a group interview. I used to spend hours and hours interviewing people, screening resumes, and that saving my time on that part is valuable. It was that and then the sales scripting that have been two major things just so far. Man, I think they're missing out on, expert advice from somebody who's been there, done that, built companies, has learned a lot of lessons. That's what I'm always looking for, is somebody that I can learn from that's ahead of where I am. And I think if you choose not to come, you're missing out on a lot of good advice that could help your business.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us. And it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builders shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing, and Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love the building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I mean, I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Clay, my honor to be on your show, and thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects, you know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you, so congratulations.
And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. Hi, I'm Kelsey with K&D's Woodruff Finishing, business owner at 23. So I've been working this K&D's company for about 5 years now, and we started working with Thrive not too long ago. And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. That's what we're going to hit or exceed. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been pretty much just listening to what they have to say. Their hiring process has just really been incredible as far as finding good quality help, and the just the accountability of meeting up with them weekly, and like such good insight, the resources that they have for specific business questions. It's all been really incredible. It's been a great experience, so I would recommend it to anybody.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm gonna check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and such I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. And your coach will hold you accountable. I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. You know, Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be, when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. Do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous. Just do what they say because it'll work. You know, people, when they look at my business, you know, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, you know, things just happen for me. And, you know, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, you know, perseverance and, you know, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, you know, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success. And I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come. Thanks so much for watching.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach, you know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, you know, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever is important. You know, my rich dad was one of those persons. You're on it, man. You're on it. You're on it. Everybody listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about. You have the macro picture. Very few people have that point of view.
Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble.